Right. Yeah. So today's training is about AI and how we can be using it as an organisation. Um, just go through a lot of the do's and don'ts, and just touch upon the basics to begin with. So let's just bring that up on my bigger screen. I can see it a bit better then. There we go. So artificial intelligence is a technology that allows computers to learn and make decisions based on a data set. Most AIs, it's just the data set is just the internet as a big whole, which is great because obviously the internet's a big, vast place and it's full of vast amounts of information. But again, that information might not always be correct. But I'll touch upon that later on. AI is increasingly important because it helps us work faster and smarter by automating routine tasks and providing insight into our data. And yeah, again, being computer based, it's just not limited by time as such. It's just by how much power each device has. And companies are spending billions on this to make it as fast as possible. And it can just plow through a video in seconds. It's like a 1 hour video. You can send it into it and it can just digest that information just like that. So yeah, massive insight into data and stuff like that and how quick it can be. Today we'll explore how AI can be used in our workplace to improve effective and productivity. So again, just trying to touch upon what's going to be most relevant to us in our organisation. AI is transforming industries by reducing human error and speeding up processes and providing new insights that were previously difficult to obtain. Again, all touches on how quickly it can just go through information and not having the human error of, oh, I forgot this bit of information, because you're only human. You can't remember every little detail, whereas AI will remember everything. Okay, so go to the next slide then. I'm going to use that as a bit of a guinea pig on this one. I'm sure you, on my slides calls I did to everyone, you heard me mention Mentimeter. I thought I would try and put it in place after telling everyone to try and give it a go. So what it is, Mentimeter, is it just makes the thing interactive. Whoops, too far. Makes the whole thing interactive. So if on your smartphone, you can scan the QR code, or if you want to do it on your laptop, because that's where you're viewing from, you can just go over to mentimeter.com or menti.com, sorry, it says at the top there, enter in that code. And yeah, what this is going to be for is I'm going to ask you guys, have you used AI before and which AIs? So have you used like ChatGPT is the obvious one, or say Copilot is a one I recommend to lots of people being a free one. You may have used AI in different programs, like Canva has its own AI built in. So if you guys wouldn't mind giving that a go and seeing if, I've done it again, haven't I? Gone past it. Anyone's having any problems, if you could let me know. I'll give it a minute, make sure it is working the way it should do. I'm going to give my phone and give it a go as well. The reason I can't do it. So yeah, so on my phone, it's come up, enter a word. So it would be whatever AI you've used. So mine would be ChatGPT, submit. And that should, by rights, be come up on our screen, but it's not. Right. 2 seconds, let's see what's going on with that then. Sorry about the technical problems. It's great being in IT. So, okay.
Do you have to
Wh-
sign up for an account before you can do it?
No,
I've scanned it and everything, but
it's coming up on my presentation in PowerPoint, but it's not come up here. I will move on. I will figure that out. But
so you can
I
see our results.
I can see your results. It's just not come up on the presentation slide,
Okay.
which is bizarre. But again, I'll
Don't worry,
figure it out.
Mark. It happens to us all the time on training, so don't worry about it. Feel our pain. You think, oh, it's
I
all
can
snazzy,
see.
and you're like, damn it.
You can see.
I
It's come
joined
up on
on
yours.
there.
Well,
the
Joe,
laptop,
clearly
I
your
can see it and
favourite
it's all
because
there.
I can't see it. You're
Uh,
the
No,
only one who can see all these things. Get it? I
But yeah.
understand.
But yeah, I've got so according to this, I've got 16 response. Main one is ChatGTP, which is it's the obvious big one. So yeah, but yeah, I see a lot of people use PowerPoint one. So yeah, there's an add-in to PowerPoint, which you can get AI for everything. But yeah, ChatGTP and Copilot are the two big ones which have popped up. So yeah, yeah, thank you for that. That's helped me learn that a little bit more, and hopefully it'll go a bit smoother next time, and I can help you lot all implement it in your slides at a later date. Okay, so next slide. So prompts. Prompts is essentially what you're typing into AI. So it could be another word would be a command. So what you normally type into Google would be known as a prompt. And the better the prompt, the better result. So you want to give it as much context as you can when asking for anything. So for instance, for myself would be, if I'm say trying to get an outline for an email, I would go, start off saying, I'm an IT admin for my organisation. Please write an email to my colleagues about so-and-so. And that way it knows a bit more about me and can give it more context. And because the least amount of information you get, the more generic it's going to be. And yeah, why not make it more personal as you can to yourself? And especially when it comes to generating like art and stuff like that, images, the more you give it, the better you're going to get. You're going to get what you want, not just some generic outcome. Okay, so next slide. Downside of AI. There are lots of downsides to everything, and AI is no exception to that. Number one, so AI generates incorrect or nonsensical information that seems plausible. So yeah, it will essentially what it's going to do is answer you very confidently, thinking it's right, and it can and is very often wrong. So you should always check what it's giving you, because again, it's learning from the internet. The internet, not everything on the internet, I'm sure you all know, is not true. So you have to give it leeway, but there are ways to mitigate that, which I'll touch upon later on. But yeah, don't just take it 100% true just because ChatGTP spat out and you said, yeah, it sounds like it's confident. It knows its stuff, this ChatGTP. Check it. Always check it. And what these mistakes are normally known as is hallucinations. So the rule of thumb at the moment is when having a conversation with AI, you don't exceed 10 prompts, because each time it goes out, every time you ask it for a prompt, it goes out to the internet again, grabs a load more information, and that's when it starts getting conflicting information and increases the chance of a hallucination. So the rule of thumb is 10, and that's actually quite a lot. When you start chatting to it and you're asking it something, 10 is more than enough you should use. The big one for our organization is going to be personal information, especially when it comes to clients, because not only does AI learn from the internet, it learns from our input. So if you input, say, Joe Blogs is da 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 da, this and the other, that will then end up on Chat GTP servers or Copilot servers, which it is essentially a data breach. We've now given them information that we didn't have the rights to give it to them. They shouldn't have that information on their systems. So never ever type in personal information. That said, little things like most of us are on the Autism Oxford website. Chat GTP knows that. So if it's public information, and I mean, it has to be very obviously public, not Facebook, but like who's the CEO of Autism Oxford? It knows that because it's got access to the internet. But yeah, but as a rule, don't type in personal information, especially when it comes to clients. And if you do by accident, let us know because it's a data breach. But what you can do is anonymize the data the best you can. And by doing this, if you're, say, doing a report on a client and you're having to refer to them and family members and so on, you can just use placeholders. So, for instance, what you could do is you're writing your document up in Word. You call the client, say, to make it easy and relevant, you think of a famous family, whether it be fictional or reality. So you could go Homer Simpson or something, and you could just say, client came in this morning, but da 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 da, parent, dad, Homer Simpson. And at the end of your document, there's a find and replace function. So whilst it's all anonymized, you put it into Chat GTP, you get to do spell check or whatever you want to do with it. It's all anonymized. Once it's back into Word, you use that find and replace function. So you go find and replace Homer Simpson and then replace it with the real name. That way, you can use all the documents, you can put whatever you need through AI, but without breaching anyone's data because it's all anonymized. But yeah, just that's the big ones. Just especially as an organization, we can't be caught putting personal information into AI. Okay, so right, next slide then. Customizing AI instructions. So it's pretty much like I said before, the more information and context you give it, the better the output you're going to get. One of the features of ChatGTP and I believe Copilot starting it as well is in the settings, you can give it basic information about yourself. So you don't have to type it in every time. So again, for me, IT admin. And you can as well give it context like I live in Devon in the UK. So again, if you're asking for it just gives it a bit more relevance to the information that you're asking for if it knows. And also you can have change the default of the output. So you can have it long or short, depending on what you generally use. I personally have mine in short, just because I use a lot of mine for emails, and I try and get it's just easier. I don't need to pad it all out. It's just get the information over to Kim or Chris, Mike, whoever, quick. And again, you can have it the tone. You can say have the default to casual or formal, depending on what you're using AI for predominantly. I see you got your hand up, Kim.
Yeah, you'll get used to doing training with me. I always like to put my neb in.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Around customizing the AI instructions. So certainly things I found really helpful is learning our tongue as an organization. And what I mean by that is often I will put into Chat GPT or Copilot and I'll say, please write about, I don't know, about autism identity in a neuroaffirming way, using Autism Oxford UK's tongue. I will provide you an example from their website of how they write things, and then I'll just copy and paste a sentence or a paragraph from a website and put it in. So then it writes in the same tone, well, as close to the tone as possible.
Exactly.
So it gives you that. So it's a good top tip. So talking about, or if I'm doing something for my LinkedIn, for example, I'll be very specific and say, please write me a post on LinkedIn about humility in leadership. Please use a warm and professional tone that's aimed at people on LinkedIn, and then it'll write you a post, and you will need to change some of it, but yeah, it will give you a different tone and different sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the more context you can give it, the better. So yeah, so again, you can give it as much or little as information as what you're comfortable with, but yeah, the more you give it, the better the result you're going to get to what you're looking for personally. Okay, so as well, prompt editing and optimization. Again, practice makes perfect. The same with anything. Everyone goes in there, and I'm no different. I went in there with very basic prompts, and it did give me out for what I wanted, but I soon learned, like, oh, maybe if I phrase it like this, maybe if I phrase it like that, or like Kim said, phrase it so I want the output ready for LinkedIn. Maybe I didn't mention that before. But so yeah, you can always edit your prompts, especially in ChatGPT and Copilot. So say you enter your prompt and it spits out a result. Maybe you're not happy with it. What you can do is you can go back up to the prompt you entered in, and there's normally a pencil or something along there that you can click on and edit it, and you'll get a different prompt. And again, practice makes perfect. You'll soon learn again what you want to enter to what you want to get out. Yeah, practice. Yeah, again, useful outputs, enhancing overall effectiveness. Yeah, so again, learning prompts is a learning curve for everyone. So don't get disheartened just because it's not spitting at you and go, oh, this is a bit generic. This is a bit rubbish. Edit your prompts. See what happens. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide.
Chris has got his hand up.
So he has. Chris.
Yeah, sorry, just what there about that on those prompts. So obviously you got the little pencily thing you said edit. I've also gone in and wrote again, obviously in like ChatGPT the things it remembers what you obviously wrote. So I said, oh,
Yes.
that was great, but can you now edit it so that it's a bit longer
Yeah.
or a bit more casual or yeah.
That is definitely a way to go. And again, because AI and in ChatGPT, it's in its name, is you chat to it as you would a person. It's not like Google where you put in one thing and hope and then search for results. You can critique it and so on. But the benefit to editing a prompt is it keeps you within the 10 prompt limit of hallucinations. So it's very use a conversational bit, but if you can see it going down, oh, tell I'm coming to my limit of 10 prompts, or not limit, but a recommendation. Editing a previous prompt can help you in that to just try and keep you under that threshold. Optimizing thoughts through AI. That is especially helpful if you're researching something, and I used it for this. I went out, did my research, and just copy and pasted and wrote a load of notes down randomly into Word. And then I looked back at it, and it's like, okay, a little bit out of context now, isn't it? Right. So I took over to ChatGPT. I said, look, I've made notes about an AI presentation I'll be doing to my colleagues. Can you reorganize these thoughts? And it did, and it made it a lot more coherent, and it just tidied it all up. So yeah, if you're ever doing any sort of project or you're going through a meeting of some sort and you're making notes, I recommend just put it through AI and just ask it to organize it, rewrite it, or just something along those lines. You again will learn the prompts that you like for the outputs that you want. And it is very good at summarizing them as well. So again, I put all that in. I said, can you give me a summary of what this is going to be about? And that it could be very useful if we're doing, say, a webinar to the public. From all those notes, you could ask for a summary about this to put on a infographic. And that'd be very helpful, Joe, who does all the infographics and stuff like that. And it's just, yeah, it gives a bit more context to people who are out there. Okay, so next slide. AI, yes, it can read text out of images. So if you say you're doing screenshots and you're say you've got an error up on your screen or whatever, and something's not quite working, you don't have to type it out like the code or whatever's on your screen. You can just do a screenshot, send it over into the AI, and it'll read it. Or again, if you just want to take the text out, say so someone sent you a picture, or you took a picture of a poster or an infographic, rather than copying it all out and typing it, just turn to ChatGPT and say, can you pull the text out of this image? And it will very easily. There have been other softwares around for a while that can do this, but again, AI just makes it that more simple, all in one place. You haven't got another app just for this dedicated process. And amongst that as well, you can ask it anything about the image. So you can say, where do you think this photo has been taken, or just anything about it, really. I mean, but yeah, it's very good at recognizing images, is the long and short of that. Okay, what's next then? Yeah, personalizing AI outputs. So again, Kim touched upon this with said about our style of writing. If you have lots of previous documents, or if you have blogs and whatever, you can feed it in to AI. Say, this is my writing style from these documents. Now, can you write me another document in this style about so and so? And again, it just gets it more personal to you. Just makes it that much. Yeah, who doesn't want it to be more personal? No, we don't want to all be sounding like robots or same old gibberish all the time. Yeah, that's pretty much that slide. Have a look. And there's lots of different methods out there for getting the right prompt style, but this is a basic one to go with. So when you are asking anything, try and include these 3 steps. So style, so you can ask for it simple, technical, creative, or whatever your style may be, casual, anything like that. Format, so you can have it formatted ready for where you're going to be using this information. Like I mentioned previously, emails. Format perfectly for an email. Presentation, so slideshows. Again, if you've got all these notes, send it there and say, can you reformat this into a presentation of however many slides you would anticipate? And it will. You can format into bullet points and all sorts, any sort of format. Just type it in and away you go. And then you can restrict it. Again, if you have personalized it before, this isn't necessarily relevant every time, but if you know you want to have, say, a report for someone, but it's not, you don't want it too long, you say 1 sentence, 2 sentence, or 1 paragraph, or just as quick or short as long as you want. But yeah, just let it know, and it will condense or elaborate on the information, and in turn give you a better output. Yeah, enhancing AI integration through role playing and customization. So I go to it a lot because at the moment it's just me and Chris in the IT department, and so I go to it a lot and say, act like an IT admin of 20 years experience, and then I ask it the same as I would if I was working in a big team with other people, and it just gives me a very good response. The AI generally thinks it is an IT admin of 20 years, and it could be any sort of profession at all. It could be speech therapist, it could be marketing, or yeah, again, limitless. But yeah, going into role play again can help your output, and especially if you are trying to have a conversation with it where you're asking questions, you're trying to resolve something or get information. So yeah, I recommend asking it to play a role of a specific person you'd want to speak to. As I mentioned before, AI is not always right, because it's just not. Because again, it's grabbing from the internet. You can't guarantee what it's grabbing. So always check what you're getting information. So AI can help verify facts by cross-referencing it from multiple sources. So you cannot ask it for the sources when you ask it something, just to read it, so you can go, oh, it is coming from, say, NHS, which would be relevant to us in the UK, and not, say, from the World Health Organization, which might not be too relevant, or whatever health system they got in India or China or whatever it may be. So getting sources cited is definitely key, especially when it comes to information we would be passing on to our clients and other people. And you can just, again, start a new conversation with the same prompt, and you should get a different output. Sorry, Kim, you got your hand up.
Yes, I do. So just it's about the checking and things. You might not know the answer to this question. Do you find that there's a difference in the facts accuracy depending on whether you use ChatGPT, Copilot, or the paid version of the ChatGPT?
That is a very good question. Definitely, there's no two ways around it, because you may not know, but Copilot is ChatGPT, but Microsoft have put their layer on top, so it's got their political views. Whereas a little while ago, I was looking to a Nintendo Switch for my boy, and I want to get a few facts. And ChatGPT, being an independent company, I would say was a bit more accurate. Whereas when I looked into Copilot with it, it would not say a single bad word about Nintendo, because it's trying to be politically correct and not, for whatever reason, yeah, they just did not want to upset Nintendo. So bear that in mind. Again, what's the company behind's agenda? Do they, again, especially being the States, are they right wing, left wing, and all this? Unfortunately, it does bleed into technology as we use it, and it's sad, but that is the way it is, unfortunately. So yeah, AIs can be biased. So again, Copilot is ChatGPT behind the scenes.
I suppose.
Yeah, go on, Chris.
I suppose that's very similar to, like, if you ask the Microsoft version which is better, the Xbox or the PlayStation, it's never going to recommend the PlayStation, is it?
No, it wouldn't. It's going to have its own biases. And again, for example, Apple's about to start their own AI thing. It's ChatGPT again. So all of those are running on ChatGPT computers, but you would never get even close to the same result, because they're going through a certain layer of the company. So it'd be Microsoft Copilot, Apple, their Apple Intelligence, whatever they're calling it. So yeah. But yeah, fact checking, again, it is worth Googling if it is important information. Is this fact correct? There are designated tools out there for fact checking. Again, you can in ChatGPT especially, there are things called GTPs, which is a specific AI for a specific job. So again, they can be used, but yeah, never take everything at 100% face value in AI. It's a guide, not facts, in my opinion. Just don't trust it 100%. So fact checking with AI not only saves time, but also increases the reliability of the information we use in our work and reduces the risk of error. Yeah, it can, because rather than just going to, pulling information from one website, it generally pulls lots of information from pulls lots of information from lots of websites, and then concludes an idea from that. So yeah, it can be, but yeah, for fact checking, again, just use another AI and you just see what information you get and just see if it is correct. Workflow improvements. So what it can do is just help you organize your day a bit more. So if you just find your day just disappearing, like, I didn't get a lot done today. What happened? I just did this, that, and the other. Just try typing in your daily routine and what you're doing into an AI, and tell it how you do things. Again, the more information you give it, the better. And then just ask it to analyze and how could I be more productive. It may spell out some gibberish, and you may go, "Oh, that's not right. I don't think that's right." But I would be very surprised if there's not a few gems in there that could just help you throughout your day and just streamline things a little bit more for you. But yeah, again, just helps you organize things massively. So yeah, I mentioned earlier about AI and ChatGPT especially having something called GTPs inside it, which are a specialized AI, which essentially means a normal AI is trained on the whole of the internet. A GTP is trained on a certain data set. So there's nothing technically stopping us from making our own GTP based about all the information at Autism Oxford. So if people want to ask us a question about how to ask us a question, they go to our AI and they'd get a result from only information that we really given out. So, and that's particularly helpful if you're, again, if you're looking for IT or marketing, it will only pull data based on that. And the analogy is when you ask AI question, it's like you go into a library, you can only grab and hold so many books at one time. And then the general AI, it just grabs a bit of information from everywhere. But if you use a GTP, it's like you're going into a library and head into a certain section of the library, and you're getting all the books based on the information that you're looking for. So it just, again, helps give you more accuracy. And fortunately, GTPs have now become part of the free version of ChatGTP. So very beneficial. And if you're on there, just have a little look around. You'd be amazed what you can find in there. Still manning opposite side views. Again, if you are having an opinion on something, still manning. I'm not sure if everyone knows what that is. It's just making your argument, your point of view, as solid as you can. Trying to work out if there's any gaps in your argument or information that you've got, any holes. And to reaffirm your views and stuff, I like to do is ask it to, can you still man the opposite view of whatever is spit out or whatever you're researching? So again, like you mentioned, Chris, say PlayStation versus Xbox. Say you've got it to give you a load of results saying Xbox is the best. I would then go into it and say, can you still man the opposite side view? And then it'd give you all the answers saying why PlayStation is the best. That way, it just gives you a full spectrum of what's going on, especially if you're very passionate about it. And I get it a lot because I'm not a fan of Apple, but to be able to hold my views, I make a point of going out and checking what Apple's up to, all their devices, and going, yeah, and it just helps and reaffirms, like, yeah, I prefer this, and this is right because. So I've got a full spectrum. So again, highly recommend that, especially if you're passing out information to the public, because if nothing else, it can prep you for what they may say to you. Do you have an answer ready, rather than later on in the day go, damn it, I should have said that to them. That's the right answer. Leveraging AI for transcripts and summarization. This is massively helpful we've started using it in a lot of our leadership team calls. Is we have a meeting, we click record or transcript. You don't necessarily need the video side of it all. And throughout the meeting, rather than say poor old Claire scribbling away as quick as you can, trying to write down so and so's got to do this, that's been done. It'll all be in the transcript. At the end of it, you can just take it over to AI and ask it to summarize it. You can ask it for what jobs have been done, what jobs need doing, who's going to be doing these jobs, and it'll just do it instantaneously for you, and you can then concentrate a lot more on in the meeting rather than trying to scribble things down and playing catch up all the time. And not just that though, but summarization, you can just get to summarize anything. Say if you get CC'd into an email thread and you're like 10 threads in, you don't necessarily have to read it, especially if the emails are heavy on content. You just post it, pop it into AI and say, my name's Mark in this thread. Can you summarize what's going on and is anything being asked of me specifically? And it just makes it a lot more digestible for you. And again, I will be after today, I'll be putting this one through and asking it, what improvements can I be doing? Did I stutter a lot? And just, it's a very good critic and just help me improve. And it seems silly, why not? And again, being AI, I don't think I'm going to take it so personally as if, say, if Kim popped up and said, you were shocking, Mark, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right. My laptop tells me I'm not doing it right. It's like, yeah, whatever, mate. It's a laptop. It's not going to affect me as much. So again, I think it's a very useful tool. So points caught. Again, on that, when you're asking it to summarize and you know, say the tasks are going to a certain application, so say Microsoft Lists or Microsoft Planner, because we're getting from a meeting, you can ask it to pull those out in a format. So it's just copy and paste. You haven't got to then reformat it into where you're going. So context is key. Yeah, as much context you can give it, the better. Yeah, I think that's all of those. Analyzing data, massively helpful. Again, because it's not, it remember every little key point. It can just, it is revolutionizing data analysis. It can just analyze massive amounts of data just like that. So, say sales reports or whatever's doing well in the business. So we could potentially send through our finances anonymously and say what key things are doing the most revenue to the outputs, and it just, rather than you having to sit down and do all the maths, it can just do all the analyzing for you so quickly. And you can also then ask it to visualize it and give it into a graph, pie chart. And again, if you've already got the information, you can ask it to put that into a chart or a graph. You can do this within Excel, but it can be a bit clunky sometimes, messing around. So if you can go to AI and just ask it, makes life a little bit easier. Okay. So again, prompts is key. It's the input is what's going to get you the output. Again, if you are struggling and you don't think you're getting the results you want, there's a website out there, AI for Work, and it has a big catalog tree you can go through, and then it will give you the prompt that you can then use just to give it, again, because it'll give it a big old context, and it'd be like 100 words potentially of a prompt, and you didn't have to do the hard work, and it would just help you get the output you want and just learn how prompts are formatted, really. So yeah, I do recommend, if you are struggling or just even want to have a look, aiforwork.co. Definitely check it out. It's definitely worth having a look at. Yeah, so you get your prompt from there. Then once it's in your AI, just customize it a bit more to you. And yeah, it just makes the whole process a bit easier for everyone. Yeah, so some useful tools. So we'll touch upon just a few of the main AIs out there and ones that I'd recommend looking into. And I will be looking into these in the next coming weeks or months, and hopefully trying to implement and help people along. Because again, it can be very overwhelming. We're all very busy. So again, I will be looking into these, but by all means, preemptively go and look into them and let me know if there's anything you find good or bad. But Zapier is a massive one at the moment. It just automates so many tasks for you. And unlike some programs, like because Microsoft does have its own, this isn't limited to just one software company. You can get automate tasks from all sorts of websites, companies, and there's lots in there pre-made. It's from my understanding, it's a massive community. So if you made one, it would then share that formula on their website for someone else to come and use it. So if you want to say, mine's gone blank on a task you'd automate, but yeah. And again, Magical, same sort of thing. I would lean more towards Zapier, but again, competition breeds innovation. So yeah, there'd be certain things you might find better on different ones. Adobe Firefly is at the moment one of the best, if not the best, free image generator, and it's made by the same company as the people made Photoshop. And again, as you can imagine, Photoshop is the big player in town when it comes to image generation, image editing and stuff like that. So Adobe do have a good leg up on this, and I do recommend them to at least try as an image generator because they have lots of tools and it is quite robust and it is free, which is the key point. Yes, you got your hand up.
Do we have to like download anything for Adobe Firefly, or is it just like a website?
It's just a website. All of these websites.
Okay, fab.
You may get the odd extension to go into, say, Chrome or Edge or whatever. But if you ever do get a program or something you want to download, obviously it's going to ask you for an admin password. So come to me or Chris, where we do our due diligence and look into it, to make sure it's not malicious or doing anything that it shouldn't do. And then we will obviously install it for you. Chris, you got your hand up.
Yeah, just you're saying around like Photoshop and stuff. So like some of the stuff I was doing, I mean, I am an absolute novice in Photoshop. I don't even know how to put layers in. However, I was literally, there's a prompt at the top, remove background, and it removed everyone's background, and it just created a white background. And then I was like, fill background with with color, and then you hit the color, and then like some of the ID badges, everyone thought I was a Photoshop pro. But I got a clue how to find anything on Photoshop.
Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant. And again, unfortunately, Photoshop is, again, it's a paid app, so you're going to get a lot more feature-rich stuff like that. But again, for a free one, brilliant. And touch upon that, I'm sure you've all at this point have heard of Microsoft Paint. That's even got AI built into it. So you've even got an AI image generator in your laptop already, if you're on Windows anyway. But yeah, that's those ones there. And again, just touching upon the basic ones out there. Productivity tools. Audio Pen is a massively good one. For myself, being dyslexic, typing sync up is very taxing, time consuming, and it's just, it's a pain in the ass. Microsoft does have a very good speech to text built in, and so does most phones, and they're all very good, but none of them currently use AI, and Audio Pen does. And there are a lot of things it picks up on, like nuances and stuff like that, and just a lot more context. It's a lot better. So if you are using speech to text, there is a free version and a paid version. But yeah, by all means, I'd recommend that. It's very helpful. There's also an app on your phone. So say if you're walking your dogs or whatever, you can't just stop and start typing up a note on your phone. Get that out, and it just transcribe it into a note and whatever. It's very good. Again, I've not so much for us, but the second one, it helps with video editing or just trying to make your background a bit better. Again, not majorly relevant to us, but noteworthy. Again, I think it's very helpful. Multimedia, again, it's probably more things that me and Chris touch upon, but again, you may want to have a go at yourself, and captions is a very good one. One of the features on there is, like myself, you've probably seen me when my camera is on. I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking at another screen off to the left or whatever way it may be. Or what I can do is AI can edit your eye contact to be looking directly into the camera, making content more personal. It looks like someone's looking directly at you when they're, because again, that's what makes, say, a good YouTuber or presenter or anything. They spend the whole time looking into the camera directly, not off to a screen or something to the side. So again, potentially could be a good tool during our webinars. We mentioned that one earlier. YouTube transcripts. Again, to transcribe a video for you, because not all YouTube videos have it. Or if you're trying to grab a big paragraph of information, rather than say trying to type it out as someone's reading it off, you can just go to that website, type in, copy over the URL from YouTube or whatever video site, or any video, as long as you've got the web link, it'll give you a transcription to it, and it is very, very accurate from what I've seen. Next slide then. Marketing as a couple on here, probably most useful for Joe. Social media and automating posts. Again, there's no point always leaving it and go, oh no, I've got to quickly log on, I've got to get this post out at say 9 o'clock. That's when Kim wants it. That's when I've got to get it out there. You can automate it. And what you can do as well is have a generic infographic or picture, and it will then format it according to each social media platform. Because again, like I think Instagram's a square image, TikTok's portrait, and so on. It can just automate and help you out in that area. Beehive, again, email. If you're anything like me, you hate just a normal inbox. Geez, let alone setting up an email marketing campaign. So again, this can just help you along and just give you some insight on what you should do and where to go. But again, most people won't be using that. It'll be more Joe or whoever else may be helping out at whatever point. But those are just a few of the different AIs out there. Again, a bit like ChatGTP and GTPs, the more specific the AI, the better results you're going to get, because it's going to be trained on a certain data set rather than just the whole web. So you can go to this website on the end, and it's got a whole catalogue of to help you try and find the right AI for what task you're trying to accomplish. So again, you could go through there, and that's where I found lots of these. You can go through and it'd be social media, marketing, and so on, or IT, or graphic design. Again, definitely worth looking into. You might just stumble onto something. You may not, but again, I'm sure if anything like me, you end up 5 minutes here or there, sat around waiting for something. Have a little peek at it. Okay. That's pretty much it. Again, to just try and sound clear, I thought I'd put a feedback form on the end. Again, the first time I'm doing it, I'm sure I've made quite a few mistakes somewhere. So if you want to leave some feedback, by all means, please do. And plus, it'll then help us learn this feature to potentially roll it out to the public in our webinars and so on. But yeah, anyone got any questions?
How do we fill that form in?
You should really, I believe, just be able to click on the start now, I believe. Well, that's what it said. It told me anyway. If that's working, let me know. If it's not,
No,
again,
it's not.
no.
We'll just
Pop
clicking
the
on.
link in the chat, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. But I will be looking into that feature as well then, along with Mentimeter, see why that's not working. But again, learning curve. We'll get there.
Don't worry, we get it all the time, Mark, when we're doing training. So thank you. And thank you for the time in putting that together for us and kind of talking us through AI. I think for a lot of us, it's an introduction to AI. It's quite anxiety provoking because it's new and it's something we don't really understand. But it's an exciting time ahead, I think, for clinical practice as we go through, and it's making sure that we work out how we use AI alongside keeping our personability as well at the same time. So,
definitely.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing how this evolves and stuff. But yeah, any ideas following today? Do let Mark know any suggestions that can help with kind of making things work smarter, not harder. I'm saying this a lot at the moment. Work smarter, not harder. Which is hopefully will help.
Yeah, and again,
so thank you,
let AI do all the thinking. Well, not all the thinking, but let AI to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Absolutely.
And it's something to bear in mind is AI, as we know, it's been around a year and a half, maybe 2 years. You're in the early doors of it. You've got to think the same way as smartphones back then. This is just beginning. Was it easier to learn a smartphone within the first 2 years, or is it easier to learn a smartphone now?
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Trying to get on board now because it's only to get more complicated, and it is not going anywhere.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I do encourage people. Again, everyone knows where I am. Never hesitate to contact me, even if you think it's something silly, because there's no real silly questions. If you don't know something, you don't know it. I'm here to help.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
That's all right. And I hope that was all right for everyone. And again, I could have talked about it for hours, but just trying to condense it down to an hour because I know we're all very busy and everything else.
That's great. It's a great introduction. So thank you very much.
That's all right. But thank you for your time, everyone.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mark. Thank you.
Right.
Mark.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Right.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Bye.
Right.
Oh no, it's the boss.
It's the boss. She's still here.
Was that all right, Kim?
How do you think? How do you think it went?
Tell you what, I wasn't nervous until about 2 minutes in. Oh my god!
And then it hit. Like,
tell you what, I'm feeling nervous. I don't feel
you suddenly
nervous.
got everyone looking at
What the
you,
crap?
expecting you to give me lots of information. You're like, oh no, oh no.
Well, it is one of those. I started second guessing myself. It's like, I've actually come to learn how to use specific AI tools, or I don't know, have I aimed this properly?
Yeah.
Don't know, but
No.
I don't know. It's good. It's the
an
first time I'm happy.
introduction. Yeah, you should be happy. I think my only feedback will be, and this will come with confidence as you grow as a trainer, is about how to get the group interacted. You'll find notoriously bad that people will just kind of look at the slides and will just but actually to help retain information is asking a question back out to the group. But that comes with confidence. One, because you don't know what they're going to say. Like, oh shit, what they're going to say? They might say something I don't know. But also having the confidence to manage that interaction, because sometimes they get a bit heated between each other, not just with you. You're like, oh no, oh no.
Yeah, definitely. I should be asking like end of each slide before I move on. Has anyone got any questions? But I was hoping to use
question at the beginning. So
Mentimeter. I was hoping that was going to like break the ice, but that bloody Mentimeter.
You're
it worked on my end. I can see it.
Yeah, I've tried using Mentimeter as well in training, and I've had exactly the same as you and gone, okay, that doesn't work. That's fine.
Brilliant.
Never mind. So yeah, it's a notorious issue, I think, and I think this is where then some of the anxiety is with the team, because they can put it in and then they're like, oh shit, it don't work. But yeah, no, absolutely, and definitely really helps. So but yeah, no, just the more interactive, but that will come, like I say, with time. Just ask, like, so what are your views on AI, everyone? Like, I'm interested. Before I even start today, what do you know about AI? Write in the chat. Tell me, what is it? What do you know? Where are you coming from?
That's a good one. I know a lot of people, like Jack, hates it.
Hates it. Interesting. I talked to Jack about it in supervision actually after our conversation, and it's really interesting because that'll help you benchmark and pitch, because then you'll be like, okay, so this is where everyone's coming from. So your slides will say the same, but what you're saying might change slightly as a result of that information.
Yeah, I'll get that.
So, and then instead of you, like, I know at times you're like, right, okay, let me think of an example, is then getting them to give you an example, because then you can check to see if they've understood what you said. It's okay. So I've told you the information. What example would you give me? Where would you use this? And get them to give you the example, because you go, you've not understood what I said at all. Or you're like, yeah, that's it. Let's move on. So put it back out to the group. Don't expect to have to know everything.
No, again, I would be the first one to say, I'll go back to that. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah. But yeah, let them give you the information because that will feed them through for them.
Okay, yeah.
That's my only tips, and they're things I've learned through training. The content was good, your delivery was good. It's just new. So ask those questions back and just don't be afraid to ask those to the team.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that on board.
That's it. But yeah, well done, otherwise. Well done.
Cool. Joe, was
Yeah.
I shouting too much for you, or was that all right?
You weren't too bad.
Every now and again, I was like, okay, I think I'm probably shouting. I'll calm down.
I have to keep messaging him saying, "Stop shouting."
Oh, he's all right. He comes across okay. It doesn't come across shouty,
doesn't it?
No,
No, I've turned my
it's
mic
because
down
you know him
massively.
very well. I think because you know him really well, I think it just comes like, and everyone will manage their own kind of volume settings anyway, this end. So,
but you'd think because I know him so well, I wouldn't notice it anymore.
No, I don't know. I noticed when Chris suddenly speaks really loudly and then really quietly. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you sound like a right twat. Like, don't sort yourself out. And bless poor guy. And everyone else was like, no, he's all right. I'm like, no, he isn't. Like, he's suddenly shouting. What's he shouting for? What are you doing?
Honeymoon period, David. That's it. It's irritating now. It's funny before.
That's it. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So,
yeah.
But no, very well done.
My cameo bubbles, did they work okay?
They only work
sometimes
like once or twice.
I had about every other. I had one where you were doing this, and then I had some there's none. But again, I've tried using the camera bubbles, and just sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
It's a bugger.
I'll try
it's a notorious issue with Teams. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people still use Zoom over Teams.
Teams has got a terrible name for itself.
Yeah,
Shockingly bad.
Yeah. But the NHS like Teams because of the security with it. So that's why we use Teams majority, because the NHS do so.
But that's the cameo thing is built into PowerPoint. So how would Teams affect it?
It'd be a glitch or a bug, yeah.
It's just how it loads. It's how it loads up into Teams. The same as like the Mentimeter. It's working Mark's end, so it's not a PowerPoint issue. It's a Teams issue.
Yeah, I imagine that's probably what it is. I will
have a look at the webinar function on Teams, and that looks really interesting and really helpful.
Joe mentioned something about that.
Mentimeter stuff in it. I've got a how-to guide. I think I've uploaded it on training and under Oliver McGarren. It might not be in there because it comes with the tier 1 assessment stuff, is knowing how to set up a webinar on Teams. So that was interesting. I was like, oh, something new. But some of your like Mentimeter stuff's built into that then.
I thought his presentation, his layout and everything was bloody amazing.
Yeah, layouts are really good.
I know we want to revamp our PowerPoint, so I said to Mark, I don't know whether that sits with marketing or IT, but I think it would be something, if he's got the time, that he could at least help me with.
Put on my list, and again, if I can get to it, I can get to it.
Yeah,
but I'm more than happy to do it.
I mean, this is what I'm doing next week for the Royal College of Psychiatry. So big fancy pants people. It's like, oh, let's do something a bit different. So yeah, very similar to your tone. It was really interesting when you sent it through. I was like, oh, look, it's very similar in terms of like the layouts and kind of.
Did you use AI or are you using Designer in PowerPoint, or how did you make that one? There is a AI PowerPoint designer called Gamma. Very good.
Okay, yeah, I've used sometimes like here, got ChatGPT PowerPoint, so sometimes it will give you the skeleton, but it's a bit meh. Yeah,
no, this is an actual website because I've tried the ChatGPTs in ChatGPT and they were shocking. They were no good. This is a dedicated website where, it's definitely worth a quick peek.
Yeah, absolutely, and that might be worth concluding in your thing because this is the ChatGPT or the AI has mainly been used in our training offer.
Yeah,
Josie's like a big fan, so
good.
It might be worth adding that in as something to use.
Yeah. Again, I can tie it into one of the few ones at the end. So look, this is what I used.
Yeah.
Again,
but I agree.
It's a good baseline.
Joe. Yeah, I think we do need to review our branding on our slide deck, and it's a digital marketing thing because it's branding. So it's thinking about what that looks like and how that brings in. I think it could be better than what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
But there was another website. It's got hundreds, if not thousands, of templates on there. Really good designs, and like each template comes with I think it's like a minimum of 20 different slide layouts on there.
Yeah, right.
So not each layout is the same, but
again, so you've got a different brand through.
What I have been doing is like making slides on Canva and then just copying and pasting onto PowerPoint, but there
that's
must
hard
be
then
better
to
ways.
adapt. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's hard then
exactly.
to adapt it and
'Cause you
tweak
can only
it. So if I
adapt
want to
it
just
on
change the
Canva.
writing or something, yeah, exactly
Yeah.
it. So I agree, it can be useful, but if you're not with the volume of the service we're offering,
yeah,
so
better off sticking with PowerPoint and just trying to
yeah,
learn
work out
like
how
the
best
we
you
AI.
can.
Yeah.
Unless does Canva have a special thing to export to PowerPoint? So it's editable
there's
in
something I've
PowerPoint.
got on my list to look at is Canva incorporates with PowerPoint, but I don't know how yet, because you can make a whole presentation on Canva.
Yeah.
But like Kim said, you can't. I'm sure you can't then edit it.
It depends on how it moves out. Because if it moves out as one single image into PowerPoint, obviously it's not editable. But if it exports it into individual parts, you'll be able to edit it. And that's where, like,
possibly then.
Say then, rather than AI generating an image, you'll then get edit in Canva. Use the Canva GTP because it gives you all the little elements to edit it on a more granular level. If that makes sense. But I'm sure. But it'd be a little worth. I could look into that at some point, Joe, as well. Because again, especially if I'm doing more presentations and we've got a Canva subscription.
Yeah.
Look
at how they link over.
But that template site, SlideGo, amazing website.
What's it called?
SlideGo.
SlideGo.
I could bring one up and just show you if you want. Be easier.
Okay. Kim, have you got 5 minutes quickly?
No.
Okay.
I'm literally. What do you need? You have to see. I'm late for a meeting, but it's fine.
No, it's just to ask if you got my message from yesterday.
Which message? It's only very popular. I'm like, oh, just all these people messaging me.
I sent you a message yesterday just to say, after our demand and capacity meeting, you'd said that this is all safe